Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Kate. That was an amazing talk. We are now going to transition into an experimental portion of the agenda known as lightning intros. So we really wanted to give a space to allow people to do brief introductions who might not be a speaker or might want to tell you something about themselves that's different than the talk that they gave or their official capacity that they showed up in. So we hope that this will facilitate some new connections and conversations during the reception. So the way this is going to work is if you emailed me to join the list or signed up on this sign-up sheet today, I'd like you to stand up and come form a line going this way, coming towards me. You don't have to be in any particular order. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand out a mic. You will have 30 to, I'll give you a moment to get situated, but I'll do a demonstration. You are each going to have 30 to 60 seconds. 30 to 60 seconds, so very, very quick, to give a bite-sized introduction to yourself. You may use this time however you would like. But one suggested format, if you're looking for structure, is to say who you are, where you're from, what you would like people to come talk to you about, and then what are the sort of people that you want to meet. So I will go first as an example, and then we'll get this party started, and we will be gently, or not so gently, interrupting you if you are going much longer. So, okay, great. My name is Emily Lovel. I'm the Associate Director of the OSPO here at UC Santa Cruz, and I would like to, you should come talk to me if you're interested in supporting the next generation of contributors in open source through teaching and mentorship, things like that. And I would like to talk to people who have experience with scaling programs around education and training, and people who are still doing the work around inclusivity in open source.
Can we applaud?
Thank you for your applause, but please hold your applause, because otherwise we will be here for a very long time. We'll do one round at the end.
Hello, hello. My name is Katerina. I was going to speak to you all, but now I feel like I need to speak to you all down there. I work for G Research, which is a fintech company based in London. I work with the open source team, and come talk to me if you are interested in academic engagements with industry, projects in infrastructure, data, and AI stuff.
Hi, I'm Jared Millman, and I am the Executive Director of UC Berkeley's OSPO. I'm also one of the co-founders of the Scientific Python project that Fernando Perez mentioned this morning. And so I'd be happy to talk to you about anything open source program office at Berkeley, as well as anything in the Scientific Python ecosystem. If you're doing Scientific Python programming and work, come talk to me, please.
Hello. Should I start? My name is Yahya. I'm from the Schwartz Center for Computational Neuroscience at UCSC. We developed EEG lab used for 80% of human neuroscience electrophysiology research. But what you might not know, we also host nemar.org, which is about 30 terabytes of EEG EMG data, and it is being used for many people, and we process data as well. What more interesting, we have technology for labeling data as well, which is called heads.org. I'm very interested in data quality management systems, which is not being used or just being given out advertised. And there are a lot of crappy fair data, so please, if you want to talk about quality management systems, find me. If you want to talk about chalk factor / the library factor, yeah, I really like to talk about that as well. Thank you. All right. Hi everyone, my name is Monish. I'm a third-year computer science student at UC Davis, and I'm also the president of CodeLab. So CodeLab is a software and design agency at UC Davis, and we try to provide students with real-world hands-on experience with industry work. So we believe we got the secret sauce in trying to get these industries to work with educational institutions. because over the years we've done over 60 projects, 25 different clients, and this quarter we're working with Snapchat, Reddit, Genentech, Chevron, GoodNotes, and so much more. So we also launched our open source program. There's over 130 devs waiting to work on projects. We hit a bottleneck of not being able to generate as much projects as we can. So if any one of you here are interested in helping us out with projects or helping us give tips to us on how we can improve our open source community, then feel free to come and talk to me about it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Hong. I am from NASA Ames Technology Transfer Group. I am the one of two software release authorities that are working. So I work on software release for open and closed source, and then I also help with licensing and marketing. So come speak to me if you want to learn more about NASA partnerships or any type of agreements.
Hi everyone, my name is Kat Allman. I'm VP of Open Source at Digital Science based in London. I'm based in San Francisco. If you are curious about unconferences as a driver for interdisciplinary collaboration, talk to me about that. And I'm particularly interested if anybody has thoughts on the growing tension, particularly in the EU, between the desire to control open source, use it as a driver of economic development, and at the same time, digital sovereignty. So talk to me about how those do or don't fit together.
Hi, my name is Becky Grady. I work at the California Digital Library, which is part of the UC Office of the President. I am the service manager for the DMP tool, which is a free open source piece of software. Before I joined CDL, I was a product manager and UX researcher in the video game industry. So come talk to me if you want to learn about the video game industry or just want to talk about what video games you're playing. I also would be happy to hear from anybody who has thoughts on how to talk about open source software in data management plans. It's a big area we're exploring about how to make sure that software is accurately captured in funder policies and included as part of data management plan templates.
All right, so my name is Chris Holgraff. I have like maybe 7 or 8 different hats that I could be wearing, but I'm going to focus on 2 of them. So I spent probably about a decade at UC Berkeley working with a bunch of different open source teams and projects there. I'm the co-lead on a bunch of different projects in the Jupyter ecosystem, most notably the Binder project, the Jupyter Hub project, and the Jupyter Book project. The 2 hats that I have, one of them, I'm the executive director of a nonprofit called 2i2c, and we manage an international network of community hubs for interactive computing and research and education. So we work with communities to give them a hub that provides them access to shared environments, shared data, shared computation that they use to do their work. And if you're interested in talking about how you can work with a nonprofit that uses open infrastructure to provide hubs like that, I would love to talk. Secondly, I represent the Jupyter Foundation, and I'm a member of the Jupyter Executive Council. And these are 2 relatively young groups. They're both kind of co-leading different parts of the Jupyter project, and I'm interested in learning about how these groups can be impactful for research and education in the academic community, and try to find ways to basically build bridges wherever we can. So I'm still learning in that role. I'm relatively new in both, and I'd love to learn from and discuss with you all how they can be more effective.
Hello, I'm Jeff Shapiro. I'm the Director of License Scanning at the Linux Foundation, otherwise known as the License Guy. Come talk to me if you want to know about open source licenses, if you want to know about compliance, if you want to know about auditing, excuse me, if you want to know about software bill of materials, SPDX, any of those things I'd be happy to talk to everybody about. If you want to talk about something completely different, feel free to come talk to me about Monty Python, martial arts, astronomy, and board games. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Judy Dobry. I work for the California Digital Library, which is at the UC Office of the President. And we're interested in open library metadata and software to work with open library metadata, which is a very specialized thing. But if you're interested, come talk. I'm also working on an open source project, which is like open source Libby. Many of you who use Libby from the public library, we're trying to make that an open source thing. So come talk to me. And finally, if you're driving to San Francisco and you could give me a ride.
I'm Joel Cayley. Hopefully also my talk earlier today, so just shortly, I'm from UCLA and Tech Transfer. If anyone wants to come talk to me about all things tech transfer, I'm more than happy to do that. And and Emily, if I say this right, you'll realize I want to talk to you about this. I've become very curious listening to the talks today about the ecosystems around a successful project, because I see that as a microcosm of really being a good citizen in the digital commons, which I think is very important. And so everything from how people are being trained to tools that can be leveraged to maintain successful ecosystems. I'd love to have conversations with you about that. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalia Lizaryaga, and I'm a software engineer in the digital service at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, where I am part of the open source program office of the agency. Come talk to me if you're interested about learning how we are launching and growing the open source program office at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, because we are the first of its kind in a federal agency. So super interesting challenges we've been going through, especially with some policy that has been released. Some interesting projects I've been working on is promoting software reuse among different federal agencies and creating metadata standards to do that type of inventory work. And I am interested in meeting with other people that are part of open source program offices. I am early in my open source career journey. This is my first job, so I would love to get to talk about open source in an open source program office context with more seasoned professionals. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Randy Hybe, CTO of Networking and Edge at the Linux Foundation. Please come talk to me about anything open source, specifically about the Linux Foundation. So if you always wondered what exactly does the Linux Foundation do and were too afraid to ask, tonight is your chance. Also, if you have cool ideas for new projects you want to contribute to the Linux Foundation, or just want to rant about things that you think we can do better, I'm here to be your punching bag tonight.
Hello, let's do tenor script. It's me. Hi, I'm Mihai Marusak from Google Open Source Security Team. I'm a maintainer on several open source projects like TensorFlow and Guac and model signing. And I'm interested in talking with anyone that's interested in this tool of open source security AI. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I am Martha King. I am part of the founding team at CASAF, which is the Collaboratory for Open Software and Systems in Food and Agriculture, joined actually by our other two founders, Rob Trice and Drew Zabaki, who you'll hear from a bit tomorrow. But CASAF was founded because we believe that food and agriculture urgently need open and collaborative approaches to digital innovation. So we are a nonprofit that brings together growers, the tech community, academia, and industry to co-create solutions through open code, pre-competitive pilots, and collective impact. So one of our flagship projects is actually the Supply Chain of the Future, which is a global initiative tackling some issues like data sovereignty, interoperability, traceability, all that good stuff in food and ag supply chain. So come talk to us if you want to talk about open software and systems in food and agriculture.
That's tough to follow. Very good stuff. Hi, my name is Marvin Barksdale. I know most of you are sick of hearing me talk, so I will be quick. But I am the Director of Business Development at Mass General Brigham and the architect of our OSPO that we're rolling out. I am happy to talk to anyone about tech transfer issues, OSPO issues. I've heard many of them from people that came before me, but I am most interested, what I haven't talked about is working with students and getting student developers involved in the many projects that we have now. I know I've talked to a few before, but always open to talking to more.
Howdy folks, my name is Wesley Chun. I'm a twice UC grad, did my undergrad at Cal, grad school at UC Santa Barbara. Also have a parallel career as a teacher, so I've also taught for UC Santa Cruz Extension and Santa Barbara Extension. Right now I'm a Red Hat TPM in the OSPO team, focused on upstream AI open source projects. were sponsoring, so I was told they needed a warm body. So that's why I'm here. I came from 12 plus years at Google in DevRel, spending time focused on higher ed. I was one of the original initiators of getting GCP credits and other resources to faculty, students, and researchers. So come talk to me about Google, Red Hat, AI, open source, and I also wrote a couple of Python books, so you can talk to me about that too.
Hi, we're Stefan, Miriam, and John. We're from the UCSF Education IT team. We're incredibly lucky to get paid mostly to write and maintain open source software, mainly the Moodle LMS platform and Ilias learning management system. It's a great job, and we love it. We're happy to talk to you about that, or you can come show us pictures of your dogs, I think would be fine with us too, so whatever works for you. All right. Thanks for having us.
They had 3. Hi, I'm Edwin Espinoza. I work at Cal Poly Humboldt, which is in the CSU system. And come talk to me. I'd like to talk about introducing the OSPO concept to the CSU system. So if you want to talk about that and just general talk about open source and inclusivity, I would love to discuss those topics. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Jadine Young. I work at a company called Lyrasis. It's a nonprofit. If you're a part of Curious, you might have heard of my colleague, Bridget Almas. She presented on our organizational home, which provides operational infrastructure to support and enable communities who are working on open source technologies. I'm interested in talking to people who would like to contribute to some of our existing programs, which include Fedora, Vivo, Archive Space, DSpace, and Collection Space. We work really highly in the realm of library, archives, and museums. Hey, Libby folks over there. So we're always looking to add to our organizational home. We also offer hosting services for a few open source technologies. If you don't want to talk to me, or you don't want to talk to me right now, I have handouts, so come find me.
Hi, I'm Alden Connor, most recently of the Alan Turing Institute in London, where I was a research application manager. And you're probably thinking, what's a research application manager? I was the second one ever. And it's based on the idea of a product manager, but bringing a lot of those skills and functions into academia and into open source software development. So I'd love to talk to you if you want to learn more or think about what we call research infrastructure roles, these team members who are not developers, but can help with a lot of the stuff we saw Kate talk about. If you're thinking about adding these kinds of roles to your project, I'd love to chat with you about it.
Hi everyone, I'm Juanita. I was a developer for Spider IDE for a couple of years, the IDE for Python. Now I'm a PhD candidate at UC Santa Cruz, and I work with the UC network in discovering the open source projects within the academic system. I'm interested in open source security, so my goal is to understand how does security look within academic open source projects, so come talk to me about that.
Hi, my name is Nada Milkovich. I am the project manager for the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurial Development at UC Santa Cruz. I have a long history of being a project manager and am really excited about teaching students how to be really good project managers and collaborators and communicators. I'm very interested in learning more about how to develop business plans around open source projects, and if you'd like to talk more to me about project management and how I use open source for teaching, I'd love to talk to you. Thanks.
Somebody after me, okay. So yeah, hi, my name is Arun Gupta. I run the developer programs team at Angel. So anything to do with developers is where my team gets in. Events, developers, hackathons, academia, all sorts of stuff happens out of my team. I built and led open source strategies. That's the part of my title right now at Intel. But prior to that, I built the first OSPO at Apple. Prior to that at Amazon, so I built OSPOs all along. And I used to be part of the original Java team, so I've part of the OSPO there as well. So all along over the last couple of decades, that's what I've done. Something I'm very passionate about is open source culture. And I think somebody asked the question over there, hey, I'm part of IT. How do I build that culture in there? So I think that's something I'm very passionate about. Talk to me anything about that. On a personal side, you can ask me about my Kilimanjaro trip that we did last summer, or my Antarctica trip that I did last month. So, or you can talk to me about running or fitness. So talk to me about anything open source or fitness. I'm game. Thank you.
Cue round of applause. Thank you. Wow. Thank you all so much for keeping to time. That was pretty amazing, actually.